Oh, snap. I think it's another brief moment in time when we get to see the change of the tides. The shifted, twisted bit technology showcasing the little bits of safety, while the quick trips are surely randomly sparking the photons around me. Let the light flow from the heat, yo. When the photons ignite, highlighting, yo, then you know it's that time when we force a change in tides. A little bit lined with something in us. It's almost like we something else, autonomous, or maybe perhaps it's that missing piece you needing. Perhaps it's that simple message you searching. Perhaps it's just a different time framing us for the next adventure in the mainframe. Getting excited, so are the photons. Don't laminate so we can change the coupon. Let me raise the hash rate, submit the coupon fake, and reduce the rate while we mine our major bags. Crypto technology like cryptographic money will hash in your life into a set of QRs. It doesn't matter cause it's time for 3D changes perspectives. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. It's me, 3D, and we're here. Well, hopefully change your perspective about something. So, what is this something? Well, if you didn't see the title, it's pretty simple. We're going to do the last episode of Another Word. It is about the lies, the AI, and the options. Now, that sounds all a little bit confusing because it's meant to be. All right, we had talked about a bunch of different things. We're kind of wrapping it up. So, today is just the last episode. We're going to finish covering basically the topic that we started on. But we're going to do it with a twist. So, we're going to look at what it takes to get a BIP number. And to be honest, I'm going in there because the first Noseworth episode was about law. And we ran over like 361 and a bunch of stuff with that. So, we're going to review stuff that law said, stuff about AI, and we're going to review options that people have. So, that's the lowdown general of it. Give me one more second or two. Okay. So, sorry. Okay. That's the basic goal of today. We're just going to get through it. It's not a whole lot, but it's a little bit of talk heavy. So, if you enjoy the ASMR, just go ahead and sit back and look. It's just going to happen. Alright, so before we get going, I want to go ahead and thank the partnerships. I want to thank the organizers for teaming up with Bitcoin Live Digital Broadcasting DB. Because Bitcoin Live DB and the organized is a powerhouse combo. I do see new heights for both organizations. Now, if you haven't checked out any of the organized various videos and content for stacks and other topics, well, you're missing out. They seem to be taking off with more and more with every day. They seem to have more and more going on. So go ahead and find them pretty much anywhere you're watching this, like X, Twitter, or among your other social platforms, except for Odyssey, because I'm pretty sure that's probably the only place they don't go live at, that I go live at. And I want to thank today's sponsorship. So that's right, we actually have one of those. I want to thank Shield Folio for sponsoring today's episode from within a quantum bit, as well as the Bitcoin Live DB network. Now, if you haven't seen a Shield Folio, they're like a little black book. They're made from stone paper, so they're like fade resistant, tear resistant, and water resistant. So you know the info and secrets you store in your Shieldfolio will last and survive whatever you throw at it. I personally have a Shieldfolio. I use it for my website info, contacts, crypto keys, among other things. Like, they are literally the little black books that are pocket sized, ready to be by your side, regardless of your adventure in real life or online. And I'm not joking, they really are pretty handy and dandy. Now, if you see right there on your big screen, you got a huge QR for you to go to their website. Check them out, find all their product. Now, you can find their products all over the place, but if you go to their website and use the code BitcoinLive20, you get 20% off your purchase today. So let's go ahead and roll in with Rollins before we continue rolling in. And thank you again, Shieldfolio, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, throughout the episode, you're going to see, like, right there on the very bottom of the page, there is a QR. You can scan that at any point in time and go visit. So you can always come back throughout the episode, after the episode, and check it. So if you're watching the video, have fun, do this. And if you're paying attention, well, you're going to be able to follow along. Alright, bring in can't just bring in. Okay, yeah, it is. Alright, so throughout the episode, we're going to put up these QRs, and this is how you can follow along. The YouTube has a really bad time about not wanting to put the links in the description anymore, so go ahead and use the QRs to follow along. And if you're watching the video after the live stream or anything, you can still do this as you're going, and you can always come back afterwards to still find everything that we had, because you can have the QR in the video. Alright, so this is the organizers there. I always start off with these guys to show them how the system works, but also so you guys can see what we're talking about. When I say they have tons of content about various different content, stacks, Bitcoin, all sorts of things like that. So, ton. Go check them out. Now, we always give away a free pre-search query of the day that if anything about today's episode interests you, this could be your next rabbit hole that might interest you. So today's free pre-search query is, wait, what up, Brosiv? Go, yeah, whoop. Alright, appreciate it, Brosiv. So today's best free pre-search query is best coding AI. Like always, I did not use this query in today's episode research, but that doesn't mean we won't have some overlapping links. If anything about today's episode interests you, feel free basically to come back, check it out, and use that QR to jump down this rabbit hole afterwards. Alright, so we have a couple of things we need to catch up on before we continue. Alright, so in our first episode, we went over a few topics Lop had mentioned, which one of them was about how like AI does this or that or something. We're going to look at that. So we are going to start there. Look behind the AI curtain, and then move on to the next topic. Then we're going to slowly work our way to the bit post, right? Which then, sure, Lop has a bunch of bit posts, and if you saw Noseworth episode 1, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can always check that out later. So, and again, Rosif, Pick1LiveDB account handle. Thank you, Rosif. Thank you. I'm pretty sure that is your boy, like, Brosiv of the Brosivs. But I'm never too sure. Okay, so that's what the plan and the goal of today is. We do have a lot of stuff we're actually going to go over. I say that, but it's not actually a lot. It just feels like a lot. Because some of it's kind of thick in words. Alright, so this is what Bob said. AI coding tools don't reduce the need for developers. Rather, they rebalance how developers spend their time for maximum productivity. And I 100% agree with this. Okay? Like, if you're not, like, there are ways to use AI. There's different ways to use it, right? You can use AI to do all the work. You can use AI to do most of the work. You can use AI to do the research. You can use AI to do the, just give me this snippet, like things like that. Or even like how to integrate into, like, man, I need to integrate this new thing into my old thing. And so all sorts of things it can do. He's like, it reduces the amount of time you actually spend writing code. It actually increases the amount of time you spend reviewing code, and it increases the amount of time you spend doing agent orchestration. Now, that last bottom part is actually a downside. You basically have to spend time outside of coding in order to code. It sucks. Okay? So, okay, so like basically I'm going to admit that using like AI, again, search, research, snippets, things like that, great way to use AI with coding. You can even use AI to completely code. But we'll get into why that's like we've been talking about that for months now, right? And we're going to I got a reason why that is somewhat problematic, but at the same time it's not. It's confusing, alright? So however, basically, this implies that we glazed over something last time we looked at this. And we did that on purpose. We always knew we were going to come back around to this. I just didn't know exactly how it's going to be. Like, honestly, I was hoping that the words that are going to be coming out of my mouth after this were going to be different. But it is what it is. Alright, so AI can't really write secure code. Alright? It doesn't really matter if it really needs to write it. Like, you push it too hard enough, it would just resort to something that's already made. It would just want you to, like, if you want to form custom cryptography, for example, AI isn't really there to help you, other than research and snippets. Maybe bug hunting even. Like, that's something that a lot of people forget. AI can actually do the bug hunting too. But it comes down to you need to be able to review or audit what's being given to you. And like, it's something I've probably said a dozen times, but I wanted to prove it. And we'll show you how I did. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of stupid on my part, but you know what? Mistakes were made, basically. I didn't do it on purpose, but it happened. Now we have the example. So, AI will straight up lie to you when it reviews your code. It will say one thing when it's not written that way, or you'll say, I want it done specifically, and it will choose not to. It does what it does. So even like using code suggestions from AI can be kind of flaky. Using AI to get how to set up code that already exists, or how to inject new code into a loop or something, that's actually like, it's fairly decent at that. Let's see how others right now are actually like, let's see what other people are saying, basically, right? So what I'm telling you right now is my opinion, right? So let's see what other people think. Let's see their perspectives. This is something I haven't done before, but maybe a couple times. Maybe it's time for more of this. But we're going to show other people's perspective on this point, okay? Since now I've given you mine. Humans already writing. What up, Furious Dan? In the chat. Whoop whoop, Broseph. Hail, my friend. Hey, Broseph, what is up? Glad to see you in. Hope gaming's been good. We're going over some LOP drama, some Bitcoin drama. And we just went over this what this guy said. So, basically, humans were already writing way too much code before LLMs. The last thing we need is a tool to make it easier to spam reviewers with more code. Increasing the amount of code being produced will actually hurt productivity by the only metric that matters, solving real-world problems reliably and securely. Since most managers seem incapable of understanding that, it's been a ride, Broseph. Dan, it has been a ride. Glad you're doing good, though. I hope you're doing good, though, is what I really mean. You almost always are, so I really do hope you're doing great, Broseph. So what he's really saying is, like, the only metric that matters with the code is actually getting things taken care of. Oh, dang, Broseph, music videos. Heck yeah, that is what's up. I've been seeing some of them coming out. That I think you've been doing like the bits and clips and stuff. So I'm kind of happy to see more. And solving real world problems, like for example, sure Dan is probably using AI to help him solve how to actually get these music videos made. Not everyone's an editor, right? So actually solving real world problems with the code is like where the only thing that matters, right? He's saying that's all that really matters, and spamming reviewers with more code actually hurts this. See, I'm glad you're doing great, Broseph. Heck yeah. Insane. Man, gamers game. Gamers game. So, since most managers seem incapable of understanding this concept, then you can expect software quality to collapse catastrophically in the near term. And he's not talking metaphorically, he means actual, like, things will collapse. And we've kind of been seeing that. The more companies that put in AI as their lead coder or whatever, or even as a junior coder, they have a ton of more problems. Now, I'm going to say something not a whole lot of people talk about, okay? I've been doing code for like 20-something years, and I've always just done, like, except for like maybe my first 4 or 5 years, I've always just done code for me. I've just done whatever the fuck I want. I don't give a shit. Let me just make something. I'm having fun, right? And in 2018, I made something that actually was for someone else, and it kind of worked out, and I wanted to keep doing stuff like that because it made me feel good. So I was like, that's kind of been my train lately. And that's, like, I've seen, like, I've been, like, when I first got into coding, like, in the early 2000s, I basically, like, I was doing internship for companies because, I was a young coder. I was trying to get into coding, and the internship was for coding knowledge. And I was seeing the ability of coders. They were just like so high. Even like I have an uncle who used to work for Windows, and his ability to code is just insane. But like these are insanely intelligent people too, right? And to me personally, I barely graduated high school. I got kicked out in 10th grade. Just got lucky. I passed 10th grade. Only went to school for 4 weeks. Got censored, bro. Sorry to hear that, man. But it's on Rumble. That's what's up. Now, believe it or not, YouTube's been censoring a lot, and it's because of their AI. Because they went from all algorithms to having AI involved with the algorithms. And again, more catastrophes showing the AI in coding, how it causes issues. But what I'm saying is the ability of coders 20 years ago was insane. The ability of coders 10 years ago was nowhere near that. The ability of coders today is nowhere near that. And I say that meaning like, when Google first came out, they were asking other people, they were asking random people, if you can help us develop these systems, and they had like 5 or 6 things they were trying to figure out. They would basically, pay you in some way. And I remember I was one of the people that put in code and tried my best, and I ended up getting like a free developer thing per year for many, many years from Google. And this was something they did early on, and it was something they were doing to like basically get good coders. Because they understood how hard it was back then to find good coders. Now, it's insanely difficult to find good coders. Like, for example, me, I'm a terrible coder. I'm absolutely terrible. I might make some really fun stuff and some really neat and creative ideals, but my actual code, if you read my code, it looks like hot garbage. Now, to me, I've never understood that until making this episode, and I'm glad I now understand how it looks like hot garbage. Bro said, thanks for lurking. I hope you here in a bit you're gonna see some stuff that's kind of embarrassing, but it's truly educational. I hope you stay in and listen, bro. You're gonna like it. All right, so, but that's the point. I'm nowhere near as good as my uncle. Okay, my uncle is 30-something years or 40-something years older than me, and he coded during the time frame where they didn't have any tools. You used a piece of paper to start coding. Like when I first started coding, it was on a piece of paper. I still code on paper. So, what he's saying is most managers of these systems that have to handle like the GitHub repositories and stuff, they're not actual coders. They are people using AI to help in the system and things. And the AI will straight up lie to you about what it's reviewing, about what it's looking at, or what you give it. Okay, so instead of the AI writing the code and the humans trying to keep up with reviewing it, it should be much better to have humans write the code and AI first review it before humans waste time looking at the code. Too bad to matter. And see, that's the problem. Like, the AI will fucking lie to you. So even just having them review the code is a waste of time. At this point, you can either have the AI do back-end research, the code, or nothing. And it's sad that it's that much. It's like, either you have it do snippets, research, and pre-whatever, predeterminations and stuff. You have it do injections and things, and integrations, code, or you have it do nothing. Because it's kind of a waste of time if you're going to look at it in this perspective. Because having it review the code is more of a waste of time than having it write code. It's more likely, like, I remember, I think it was like just 3 years ago, I said something like, oh, it's more likely AI will only review code because it can't actually write code because it's not able to go through the looping process to determine what actually works. Now it can. Okay? AI can do that now. AI can loop through itself and say, well, hold on, let me try this code real fast. And shit, it don't work. Let me fix that. It can do that. It's maybe not the best at it yet, but it can do that. It does that better than me. And that's a real situation. It's like, I'm really bad at integrating other people's code into my code because I code different. I code nothing like anybody else. When you look at my code, I don't even do functions the same way. I don't do my loops the same way. But I do things that people say is impossible. Right? So, I need AI to cross-communicate how I code to how other people code. 'Cause I don't understand none of how other people code. I look at other people's code and I'm like, dude, this is hard garbage, man. This is fucking bullshit. And that's how people look at my code. And that's fine. Because the people are saying, well, we can use automation with AI to help with that. And that's a point where, okay, AI can actually help with that. It can translate code from A to B, B to C. Okay, cool. So we're finding something in the middle amongst all the other crap. What it can actually be used for can be used to help translate code between coder A and coder B. So, for example, if I'm a reviewer and I have an AI that I use when I do my code and stuff, and I use it when I review code and stuff, and it's kind of trained on me, then when giving it code, right, it'll just know, like, I can be like, hey, present this in a manner I would understand. And it can just rewrite the variable names and stuff like that, or restructure the loop matter, or the loop process, and say, okay, now this is more of what you're looking for, and be like, oh, okay, now I can understand what's going on, and then we can slowly translate back to what it really is, and then I can understand exactly what's going on. So, it can be done and to automate things, yes. So, here's the big point. Liability, though, is something else to get rid of. It's an asset of the functionality, right? The liability. So, automation around coding, it's mass psychotic. Okay. So this is someone else responding. Same thing. And he says, my time spent debugging all the things Claude has audited and claimed to be perfect. Perfect example. It's exactly what we're talking about. He's pointing out the blatant, obvious point. AI is gonna lie to you. AI is gonna lie to you. Okay? So I was reading something. But yeah. It really is a true statement. Okay, we got one more. One more. That's what I was reading. It said I had one more. Alright, so this guy actually saw the word tools in that and was like saying, hey, many don't realize this. So what he says is productivity gains from automation. Responsibility still sits with developers for correctness, security, and integration. That's 100% correct. Like, the person who's putting their name behind it is still reliable. And if a AI is the name behind it, whoever orchestrated that is liable. And if it's an employee of a business, then it's that business, right? So if the orchestrator is an employee of the business is liable, not the actual employee. But if it's an individual or something like that, then it's always going to be on them. Okay? These are just kind of the truths about using any amount of automation with coding. This isn't just any amount of automation with coding. All three of these things are going to be on the coder. All right, hold on. I was reading my notes. I'm a little bit off in my notebook. Okay, so all right. So when I did the episode over the NIST picked PQCs, the post-quantum cryptographies, when I did an episode where we just looked over the ones that NIST said, hey, these are the three best ones that everyone submitted that we think were blah, 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 blah. I know something special about Sphinx Plus. It is very close to the same method for encrypting that I use and invented it like in 2020. Or actually, I don't remember what year I invented it. It was some time ago. And I know that there's this like manipulator part of the version when you ever use a state-based encoding, there is this part of it that's manipulatable. Now, which type of like state-based or stateless encrypting or encoding, like all four of those things, means that the bug works differently for each of them. The way you abuse the bug works differently, the way the bug works is differently, and the output coming from it is going to be different for all four of those. Whether it's encoding or encrypting, whether it's a state-based or stateless. Okay? So the way to abuse all of these, though, in general, stems from the same point. They're state-based. Okay? So, for example, we can use this bug in SPX. We actually use the bug in SPX to allow us to have a reversible state-based encoding. So with state-based, there's always a way to, you can like basically track it. There's always a way to track what's going on in some manner. And that's the stem of the vulnerability. Now, like I said, in SPX, the superposition text thing, it's used as a feature. Okay? Well, because of this, we can reverse it. Alright? So Sphinx Plus is stateless instead of multi-stated. Like SPX is multi-stated. Sphinx Plus is stateless. They're just basically the opposite of each other. And they do the opposite too. One is designed for reversibility, and one is designed for encrypting security, not going backwards, right? And that's one of the key factors I love about quantum is there is a negative time attachment to a lot of it. So, all right, back to what I was saying. I lost my spot. I'm trying to find it again. Give me a second. Hold on a second. So, in Sphinx Plus stateless, instead of using, we basically with stateless, you can just abuse the parameters used and slight other factors to basically build a process to prevent various things within the stateless machine from happening. And you can basically force or brute force other things to happen. You can manipulate Sphinx Plus to get a guaranteed type of result without knowing exactly what that result is going to be. Sphinx, sorry, I'm just about to read off the Sphinx Plus I just started a second ago. My bad. I do that all the time. So my idea was to basically submit this into the Bitcoin devs as like, hey, if you abuse Sphinx Plus, you can actually basically build a Bitcoin key with it. And I just wanted to show them with an example, right? Unfortunately, I was kind of backstabbed by AI, and my custom process was completely removed and replaced with modern classic processing. And it was only for the very last program, and it was only for the very end keys. I never even noticed. It was actually my fault for noticing. Now, I'm using AI to code in coding languages I don't know, and I don't know very well. Like, I'm really, really bad at C language. I haven't actually done C in 20 years. So, I'm giving the AI really shitty code and saying, hey, bro, help me make this better. And, like, I'm not very, because it's been so long, I do know how to read it, but I don't know how to read it very well. There's new processes in it that I'm not aware of or understanding quite like I ought to, because I haven't done it in 20 years, right? There's a lot changed in C, and I haven't really been paying attention. So there's stuff there I don't fully understand. And so the stuff was kind of hidden. And I even had a secondary AI, I had the GitHub AI review it. And it didn't even tell me it was there. But after this whole thing goes down, I was looking at it, I noticed, whoa, the GitHub AI added comments about it. What? How come I never noticed those comments? Like, I remember reviewing the code, but I must not have reviewed it very well. I was doing this pretty quickly. It was a hype train type thing. Like, I was the end of the day, I was wanting to go to bed, but at the same time, I was like, I just need to get this thing fucking working. So I want to basically review the ideal again, but without my special processes. That's the ideal. We're going to eventually get to a point where we review my ideal without the special process. And then we just basically let the AI consider all the most common standard practices. I just tell it how it works, and I say, I need standard practices, something we know it can do. We can use something that already exists, plug it in, and build something. So that's what we're going to eventually do. So let's have, first, again, AI is a tool. We got to remember that. It shouldn't always be the coder. You can make it the coder, but you got to be able to review it. Now, let's actually review what I submitted for the Bitcoin improvement proposal to the Bitcoin devs. Let's go ahead and show it. Let's give you the GitHub QR. All right, this is it. This is my actual GitHub. Digimancer 3D. That's me. 3D is my nickname. And if you're wondering, I grew up with 3 different nicknames. Like, some friends called me one name. Other friends called me another name. Family called me a different name. So they all started with D, and someone just started calling me 3D. Because I don't know, I was in a group of people and I wasn't paying attention, and they were calling me by different names, and one of those nicknames is D, and that was the last one they said, I guess, and then they went 3D, and I turned around, it's like, what? And from that point on, certain kids in school just called me 3D, and it just stuck. So that's what it means. So this is my Bitcoin improvement proposal I put in. I'm not saying it's okay. Say like it was all written by AI, right? I basically said, look, I think this would be great for people trying to do paper wallets, and it wrote this out for me. And I didn't even like I'm looking at this, and it's like it's a reference implication. From my understanding, that means you can use this as a reference. But no, I guess it doesn't. I'm not entirely too sure exactly what those two words in that exactly mean in English. I don't 100% understand. That's my fault. And that's what it comes down to. Simple little things like, I thought that two words like that meant this is a reference that you can use for implementing. Apparently not. Apparently that is not what that means. Okay. Now, there's a couple points in the code where I didn't notice it, but GitHub AI said that it was production ready. It claimed it was production ready, and I didn't notice that. So at some point, I get bitched out about stuff being production ready, and I was like, never did I say it was production ready. But I didn't actually tell them that. I just was thinking that, and then I looked, and I went, oh, shit. And if you look at this is pretty simple, right? It's not a whole lot here, right? Everything that's here is inside these little things. These are the actual code programs. That's where all the magic happens. And the keygen new and hybrid signer are actually pretty legit. Okay. Here's the actual technical proposal. Let me give you this link too. 1 second. This is the actual technical proposal. You see, it looks good, and it says it's a draft. I thought we did all this right. You can see I'm just basically saying this is how it's done. It's using this stupid HD seed, or HE seed, and I give them all the stuff, and we're going to show you, well, we're not actually going to go through all this, we're just going to show you what someone from the Bitcoin dev team actually said. We're going to show you what they said. Okay, that's the goal. Alright. Because that, basically, he's going to be able to answer a lot about this very quickly in a few sentences. He sums up pretty easily. And that's kind of important. Alright. So let's go back to something Lop said again. I believe when I first looked at this in the last episode, I talked about this. I said something like, no, not just anyone can get a BIP number. Anyone might be able to submit an ideal to improve Bitcoin, but getting a BIP number is a special step. And I've always known that. I've tried this before, right? This isn't my first time, although it's the first time in maybe over 10 years. Like, I don't actually remember when the first time I did it was a long time ago. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of people in Bitcoin back then. Then again, I've been in this thing since before Bitcoin. I've been doing crypto coins and crypto money and online digital stuff since Darkcoin, since my first one that I actually got into was Beancoin. And most people don't even know what that is. But that's where, like, people who were wanting to get into ads back in the day, that was how you got into ads. That was one of the avenues. That was one way to become a webmaster without a bank account. Beancoin. That was my motherfucker. That was my starting point. 2002, bitches. Fuck off. And that's the other thing, is I get really upset. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing cryptocurrency for half my life. And I get really upset. I have really stupid ideas, sure. But the concept behind that ideal is solid. Because I've been doing this, I've seen so many different things, and I've seen what works and what doesn't. I've kind of had an allowance of being able to extract stupidity out of just seeing what other people fucked up. Now, my stupidity was allowing AI to fuck me up. So, anyways, I was like, sure, anyone can do that, but you can't get the number, right? I want to actually show what it really means to get that number. So this is basically a lie disguised between reality and unrealistic terms. What he's saying about you can just propose improvements to Bitcoin. Anyone can sign up and submit something to the Bitcoin dev team. That's really all that means. But it means nothing, especially if no one will take you seriously or trust anything you give them. And it's really weird I say it that way from a thing that we all say don't trust, verify. But it's true. Alright, you guys ready? This is going to be a little embarrassing, but we're just going to go ahead and do it anyway. Someone had to do it. Someone actually has to try, who isn't really capable of doing this, to submit ideas, to show. No, it's really not possible. Okay? So, even if we go back to my actual thinking, yes, I did call it that. If we look what it's actually saying, a practical hybrid post-quantum key derivation scheme, it's using a NIST standard form. It uses a high entropy seed that it can produce standard private keys, and Bitcoin addresses. Now, this is a little bit misleading. I do mean it can produce Bitcoin addresses in this Sphinx Plus. Okay. Now the process outputs raw key material that can be formatted with existing offline tools, and that was kind of the point of this first thing. Was like, we get to a point with Sphinx Plus that you can take a Sphinx Plus output and use it as a raw material for a current cryptocurrency input to actually create a brand new key. And I was like, I did point out there's a type of hybrid signing we can use that uses a wrapper to wrap the Bitcoin key, to wrap into PQC. And all of my statements here was disregarded because it says quantum resistant Bitcoin wallets. All of that was disregarded because of a couple of phrases in this entire thing that I completely looked over because I thought they didn't matter. And that's my problem, is the things I thought didn't matter. This person who's about to review my code, it's the only thing that mattered to him. And you're going to see. So, this is his response to me. Three's company, HE, blah, 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 never heard of it. Googled it, shows no results. Doesn't seem to exist. Okay. So, which uses SPXQC for cleanup. Cleanup of what? Your draft doc links to this word salad repo. That actually links to my personal SPX repo. Something that, it doesn't really matter. I worked on that for a really long time. It's completely custom code. It does everything from scratch, 100%. Nothing is imported. All 100% written by me. But he can't read it. So he's not able to make sense of anything, basically. And he's basically looking over, hey, this is a method, this is a process, this is a ideal, and he's like, no. And then he says, don't trust your code here, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't figure out this part. This part was the part that got me really confused. Why would he say never trust it? I'm like, well, I never said this was ready. And it wasn't until I looked at the code afterwards that I noticed that the GitHub II put in that it was production ready. No. I mean, just because it produces real keys does not make it production ready. Okay? And these are sitting on GitHub if you ever want to look at them again, just to laugh at me. It's always possible. So, this is what I said. Hey, thank you for the feedback. Now, keep in mind, this was all... I wrote my feedback and had AI rewrite it, and I still shouldn't have done that. Should have still reviewed this, because this still fucked... AI still fucked this up. Okay? Still fucked this up. But, the point here is, I was honest with the motherfucker. I straight up told him, look, it's all custom code. It's all custom bullshit. It's all custom shit I did, right? Like, no wonder you couldn't find it, right? And I tried to explain the process. It still fucked that up. And I basically said, I also completely agree that my code is messy, poor documented, and difficult to audit. My communication skills are admittedly weak, which is why the SPX repo comes across as word salad. That is a fair criticism. I am not a social person, and honestly only submitted because I do want to help, but also because the law said anyone could write a BIP, and I knew that uneducated individuals like myself, which does not say here, I did not put in here like myself, will never be taken serious enough to get anywhere. And kind of pointing that out. A couple of phrases in this entire thing right here, with another couple of phrases inside, in the comments, in a couple of these code things. Like, this is the custom system I built, because I think, where does it say production ready? It might have just been one of these that said it. I don't even see it anymore. It said it in one of them somewhere. Or it might have been updated already. I don't remember. I just remember it saying it, and I was like, what? That should not be there. What the fuck? And this is when it was really hitting me. AI was just stabbing me in the back. It was telling me one thing, doing another. And again, some of these phrases, I'm not the best with English. So what? But I try. Right? So, I thought that was it. I responded. I responded 3 different ways to this guy. And I couldn't get nothing said that I ever responded to him. But eventually I did get to him. And he responded back. Hey, Digimancer3, I appreciate your reply. By all means, share and request feedback. Please don't encourage people to use unsafe homebrewed crypto to store their savings. And that was, again, that's when I went back and looked, and that's when I actually noticed it, because I saw that, and I was like, what? And that's when I did notice the one line that said production ready, and I was like, fucking bullshit, right? And then he says here with this, and he basically says, I don't believe this is, but what he's saying here, I start with the high entropy random bytes. That's a exact quote from what the AI said from what I put in, right? Problem is, I get to high entropy random bytes from expanding, starting with system entropy, by cleaning it. Well, no, actually, we get to those random bytes by doing system entropy for 10 digits. 4 different times. We put them together, turn them into binary, so we can see them in binary as a string. We use SPXQEC, which is a process to build the 13 smallest patterns in binary and then expand them into very large pattern sets that are all the lowest entropy patterns possible in binary. And we cut that out. And then we look at the string and we roll it over into trinary. And we slowly go from binary to trinary through a looping process of getting 3 sets of 10 bits that is from system entropy. Entropy is 10 characters long. We turn that into binary. We cut out, so we're basically removing data to disconnect entropy, because what we're actually using is epoch. That's the entropy, is the epoch. We're saying, hey, give me my epoch, take the epoch, and we're removing data out of there so we don't move the epoch into the secret. And that's one of the things that, like, I'm not able to really get. Something I had to work with AI for a couple of days to figure out how to explain this very well. Well, I'm taking the epoch, cutting out data so it's unrecognizable, and I'm doing it in a way where it's not, well, this number, that number, it's within the numbers creating garbage, right? And then I make enough garbage where it's uniformly formatted throughout, where it's all nice and clean, it's really good. That's the high entropy trick that I build. Well, I build that. I don't get it from nothing. So I understood at this point he was not understanding a word. I already got it. But now at this point, I understood the exact reason why he wasn't understanding, like why he didn't get it. And it was because I was kind of backstabbed by AI, and actually understanding, and I wasn't paying attention, and so I was kept my response to that even more simple. Understood. I appreciate you responding again. And I will do the suggested in the future for submissions. Sorry for the confusion. I just believe Sphinx Plus has the advantage over other PQCs for this type of use. We'll work on explaining with maths instead of just submitting my ideal next time. And I kind of pointed out here, look, I just submitted an ideal. That's it. I just randomly submitted an ideal. So if anything, hopefully, by the time we got done with this whole thing, he understood, oh, maybe I took that wrong. Actually, he probably didn't. What the fuck am I saying? He probably never did. Alright. What? The same thing in here twice. I don't know why it's in there twice. It don't matter. Alright. I'm looking at my notes. Look at my notes. Look at my notes. Okay. And this is something that Lop guy said again. Right? So, this is just a reminder of what Lop said. Anyone can write their own book. It doesn't mean anything in the end, unless you actually have the power, money, influence, and skills to be taken serious. Now, did I sit down and cry about this? Oh, I didn't cry. I didn't sit down and complain. I did think about this a lot. But you know what? No, I actually didn't just sit down and cry. I did something about it. I'm going to show you that. Give me a second. It's like basically AI isn't always the best tool for help, even though there are like good ways to use it. And I am using AI to code in languages, again, I'm very bad at, very poor at, or I don't know them at all. And making every step of every process for me is kind of like a crazy fucking madhouse. And I kind of got lost in that sauce and just submitted an ideal before going to bed, waking up the next day, and re-auditing it a second or third time. And it's actually crazy. Everybody who knows me knows I don't even normally do my own code. Normally, I have that. I used to have a policy. It's a 3-day event. I have to look at 3 different days, 3 different times. I haven't done that in a long time because sometimes when I'm writing my own code, it gets so confusing. It can take over 3 days for me to read it. Then again, if I'm reading someone else's code, it can take me months. So it's kind of confusing. But that's because I also understand I'm not super educated. I'm not very smart. I'm just a clever person. You know what I mean? Like, something I've always said to people tons of times, oh, I'm not actually smart. I'm not actually intelligent. I'm just clever. I just get things right. I fall into the accident of solving the problem type thing. I'm good at solving problems, if anything. And the problems I'm good at solving are generally non-direct. They're, they're non-physical. They're not going to directly kill. It's ideological type processing and databasing and things like that. So, you really have to debug everything. You have to audit everything the AI gives you. Because, well, I'm going to show you that even if you tell AI exactly what you want it to write, and just normalize the code, or just say, hey, just give me this, it will still lie to you. Okay? So, here is me basically starting the process initially. And I think this was a recreation. Can you explain to me how to use buffers to direct the picking process in Sphinx Plus while also considering how to get small Sphinx Plus output of approximately 93 bytes in length using improper parameters when making Sphinx Plus keys? Also consider the ideal of using multiple of these Sphinx Plus instances to attempt multiple collapse functions to obtain the desired pick per layer in the Sphinx Plus process. Use this in a 3-part consideration breakdown of how to manipulate Sphinx Plus to obtain raw address 93-byte string. And that was my original plan, was I knew we could get Sphinx Plus down so small that it would be this exact size that we could just use it as a raw Bitcoin address. In my mind, if your secret is inside of a different cryptography, used as a secret inside of a cryptography, that first layer of cryptography doesn't matter. That's my perspective. I've been wrapping cryptographies inside cryptographies for a while, and I've noticed that a long time ago that you've got 3 layers of cryptography. The first one means nothing. It's just for looks. And that's my point. We can put the secret inside PQC cryptography, right? And then we can put that inside itself in a way that compresses it to be able to put it as a seed into a standard key that even if you can break that standard key, your actual secret is still hidden, right? So in hybrid systems, that's kind of important. Because if you've got a secret that's in both your Sphinx key and your Bitcoin key, you kind of want it to be hidden in the Bitcoin key, right? You don't want both of them to be vulnerable because one stops. And so this is my thought process, okay? It's hard for me to explain it. It's probably best explained here. So it gives me all of this stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is how it's done, right? Like, my thought, I could control Sphinx 100% valid. There's even systems and processes inside Sphinx Plus to prevent the things I am doing. And you can just turn them off. That's stupid as that. Like, I had figured out, like, if you actually read this, I figured out a way around it by running multiple instances on different channels through sandboxing, so that way we can just see which one collapses in the way I want it to before moving on. And then we can do that over and over and over and over and over, and we can use one as a main seed, and we can simulate the others so we don't have to run a whole lot of processing power, so we can do this on small form factor machines. Sideways projection. We do it one, sideways project the other possibilities, figured out, oh, I need to go back and change my seed and add this into the seed, XOR and this into the seed, and then try it again and we'll output the right one. And then we can slowly build out the way we want. Okay? So, it says this is how you use the buffers to do this. This will allow you to control the collapse. This will allow you to do this. This right here will allow you to get to these proper parameters to make keys. This is all the math behind it. It's the exact way to do it. All of it's right here, right? Here's how you can get that desired pick, no matter what. Every layer, guaranteed. Alright. How can we use better cryptography outside the standard BTC, elliptical curve, and things, blah, 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 blah. So the first time I put this in, I would have just explained to it my process. This time, I might not. Just give me straight, modern, common. Don't give me no bullshit. Don't do none of my special shit. Just give me the exact proper way to do this. Alright. And, well, you're about to see it lie to me. Over and over and over again, buddy. Over and over and over again. So, yeah, you can do this without using any elliptical curve math. You can make a valid Bitcoin structure, which has always been the goal, was to make something that looks correct, but may not be valid for some reason. In this case, the reason why it's not valid is our checksum. So, using only hash primitives, this is a new age Bitcoin address. And no, actually the new age Bitcoin address is supposed to be a valid Bitcoin address, hash state driven. That is like none of this. Okay? A new age one actually doesn't have this part right here, the base 58 encoding, but there's still a way to use it. Like, and that's the part where it fucked up. Okay, right there. I said new age BTC address. New age BTC address is a PQC encoded address. Okay, that's where it fucked up. Now, okay, so this is going to be done completely without on any of these common issues. Okay, I wanted something PQC, which means that we would have had a a different type of checksum. We would have had a different type of hash payload. Um, so a lot of that would have been different. And see, there's this right pipeline thing that's already exists or whatever. But I'm not happy with that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So here is the first thing, and the more we go through this, the more it's just going to keep lying to us, and it's just going to keep lying to us, keep lying to us, and keep lying to us. Okay. So I'm not even going to continue because it's just going to keep lying to us. And the further we go down, like right here is the actual developer plan. It is nothing but lies from this point on. It just gets insanely stupid. And it even goes into points where there are spots where it will say stuff like fake this, fake that, like north sign message link. Well, no, that isn't kind of important, right? We want it to be a certain size. And at some point, I told it to actually write me stuff, and it goes from 93 bytes to 105 bytes. Why? Doesn't make any sense, but it does it. Now, I make it work. Eventually, like, I try to figure out why it might have. I don't really know why, but and I make it work. And so, like there's a lot of stuff in here where when it come down to the actual code, it was like fake this, fake that. Make this not real. In the future, this would be. And even in this dev code that you would then give to another AI to write it, right? Or to a person to write it. There's a lot of lies in here. If a person was reading this, they'd call me back up or email me back up and be like, which one am I supposed to do? The real thing or fake? Would you give me real math and then you tell me to fake it? See what I'm saying? Like, that'd be really confusing. And so it's like, okay. So it's just going to lie to you. No matter what you do. That's why you have to audit everything it does. Okay. Alright. Well, look, be smarter than me. Actually look into the process. Do not make the mistakes I made. I'm here to show you that LOP will say a truthful statement that are not full truths in practice. I'm here to show you that if you want to actually submit a proposal, you need to be prepared so you don't get cut off in the conversation. Like, I thought I was cut out of the conversation. And then a couple days later, I got brought back in. Be prepared to not be heard. Be prepared to be humiliated. Be prepared to be patient. If you do prepare yourself, and you are ready, and you research, and you do all the things, you might actually be able to submit a bit. That gets a value, or a number, right? So, maybe, even, it gets legit discussions. Normally, that's all this would be. But, I actually saved something for you. I have one more thing to show you. I hinted at it earlier. Nobody was paying attention. So I have this set up. This is my actual plan that I wanted. This is what I was actually trying to do. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this has none of my custom cryptography in it. Has none of my custom functions in it. Has none of my custom stuff in it. But you'll see the AI still included something I invented for some reason. And when I looked into why, it's a little weird. So let's look into it. This is, like I said, this is my actual plan. It's the smallest, least amount of work to take Sphinx Plus to get formulated key pairs. I know, and I am aware, I do not actually go over the PQ signing in this. I do brief the roles that are used there, and I might go through here and reread this and rewrite this a number time or two to make sure that when we do mention it, it doesn't sound so demanding. So, it's a simple 2-program demonstration that shows how to take a 32-byte seed into a Bitcoin-style addressing using heavily customized Sphinx Post quantum signature scheme. This is an example discussion code, not production software. I make sure that's up front this time. Fuck it. It only shows practical ways to manipulate Sphinx Plus with minimal changes so it can produce small, usable outputs that resemble Bitcoin keys. What it actually does. It takes a 32-bit seed and it produces a fixed 105-byte slice. Again, it was supposed to be 93 bytes. There was a reason why it chose 105. I think it chose 105 because it's more of a symmetric or asymmetric. One of those two slices in the code. So it's either more symmetric or asymmetric. I don't remember which. I think it's asymmetric. They're going for. I don't know. All right, from the Sphinx actual signature. Then it reads that 100 byte slice and turns it into a Bitcoin address, both standard real and a shake QQ post quantum checksum. That was the thing I really wanted in there. Was this a proper shake variant of the checksum Bitcoin uses? Because post quantum cryptography, a shake is a special process that allows us to give some amount of information without actually giving out the secret. That gives out enough amount of bits of the secret where you could verify that there is a secret, and then you shake it a few more times and you get a couple more shakes out of it, and you can potentially verify tiny amounts of data that would say, yeah. So I also have it set up to support 9 rolls. And if you actually pay attention, it's technically 10. Okay. Originally when we first did it, the 0 roll is always used as a certain thing. Now the 0 roll is used for something different. 0 roll is now like your master key. Okay. And the 9th roll is essentially a view roll. Okay. So the amount of secret in the 9th key is damn near nothing. I think it's like a 20th. So basically there's a quick simple setup. There's actually a single line of code you can do to set up this whole thing. Make it simple. Sorry, my voice like, sorry. Alright, so this basically downloads the official Sphinx code, or Sphinx Plus reference code. Alright? I ain't fucking around. No. We go straight to source. Go straight there, pick that bitch up, bring it home, put it in 2 folders. So I have it twice. I have 2 of them. Okay? 2 official Sphinx versions of themselves. Now, I'm going to go in. I'm going to place in a couple of custom programs. 2 main C's. A make file or 2. A params file. This is actually going to allow us to adjust the parameters of Sphinx Plus. A custom parameters file. Again, this will allow us to adjust the parameters of Sphinx Plus. And a secondary, because we have 2 of the programs, we have 2 of the custom parameters. It's going to allow us to adjust those parameters. There's a manual setup, if you want to do that. It's pretty simple. It uses very small custom parameters, so Sphinx Plus signature becomes tiny. I just adjust the parameters to go, like, the way everyone explains Sphinx Plus is basically like going up a tree. Like, you go into a building and there's a bunch of trees, you pick a tree, you have to go up the tree. Once you get to the top of the tree, you're on a new level of the exact same thing. You keep doing this, and you slowly build this thing. And the way the tree is picked is through a natural collapse that is a random distribution function collapse, or wave function collapse that randomly picks something. And, well, there's always been a way to manipulate that wave function collapse through a buffer. And I say that, and I don't actually know where the buffer is used at. Like, I just know it's used with the buffer. I don't know where the buffer is actually used at to do it. Like, that's serious. If you told me to go, Douglas, go write that out and put it in the buffer, and I'm like, I don't know if it's in the seed, or I don't know if it's in the wrapper, I don't know if it's being injected in the middle, I don't know actually where. I think it's probably being injected in the middle. What am I saying? So then we take this 32 byte scene and we sign it. Boom. Pretty simple. It saves 105 bytes of that first part, and this is where it uses SPX slice. I don't fully understand why it's using SPX slice. SPX slice is something I invented that allows you to, like, dynamically cut things pretty much in half. Okay? You can adjust it. It can be adjusted to make it not in half. But it just finds a way to cut shit in half that isn't even. The non-even structure, oh yeah, I can cut that in half. Boom. It's just a simple thing. And for this, I mean, you could say, oh, you just subtract 1 and then take half. But no, this actually takes in a weight measurement system for the type of variables in the stream to determine where half actually is. Because taking a hash and cutting in half doesn't always mean 2. sometimes it means 4, sometimes it means 3. It actually just means that it's cut evenly amongst the groups. Okay, and again, that can be adjusted to make the first group bigger than the rest, or the last, right? No, just the first group, So this takes a 105 byte slice, and this becomes the input for the next pass. Do we read this 105 byte slice? It reduces it to a 20 byte payload using shake 256, and it's actually a double shake 256, or no, later it's a double shake. That's right. So this is a Sphinx native system. This is something that's native to Sphinx, okay? Then we turn that payload into 2 types of Bitcoin addresses. A technical real Bitcoin address, no, it does not actually work. You would still have to upgrade or do like a soft fork to get these real Bitcoin addresses to actually work. But they apply the correct formation, 100% correct formation of the Bitcoin key. There's just like 1 or 2 things about it that's not perfectly proper, which is why they don't validate. I could go through there and spend maybe 9 months to a couple of years to get that to actually work. But I don't really have the money to do that. Now that we also produce a shake post-quantum checksum, which uses the double shake setup and the same base 58 format. So I'm not happy with that, but it does work. And I could go in and spend another 3-4 years just getting this base 58 format on the back end of this just perfect, so that way I would be better with it. But you know, it is what it is. It also generates proof files and optionally saves the full Sphinx Plus signature. This basically gives you everything to prove all parts of it is legit. That's the point. It's when you're testing shit, you got to prove all the parts are legit. I just give it to you. Eventually, you have to ask for it. See, you have to ask for it. So why the custom parameters? Basically, Sphinx Plus signatures are so huge, right? They get so large. That's kind of one of the secret sauces about them, right? Well, guess what? There's a way to do that backwards, bro. There's actually a way to not get large outputs. There's a way to get small outputs. And, well, you know, if you use this as a feature, so basically it says there is a future upgrade path that we're all looking at with this, which is after the PQC upgrade. Well, basically all you have to do is change in what's in the custom parameters 1 and 2. That's it. You change what's in there, and you're back to straight actual Sphinx set up in a Bitcoin format. It's just going to be a whole lot bigger. Now, I do have set up roles, and why roles? Roles create a simple hierarchical system. Now, keep in mind, there's still a signing system, there's still other things that, this is just an additional part that people have put into cryptography different ways. Like Ethereum has their own role system, right? So, or, I don't know if they still do, they used to. So basically, there's a role system that you have in your computer. And we set up a similar role system with this. Now, I have a different project of mine that uses a trinary role system to really control how you can use things. It gives you proper control. So this just gives you simple control. This would allow you to be able to say, like, signing with this one and this one put together, putting 2 roles together allows you to have a higher encumbrance or something. Or using one role over, like role 1 versus role 8, you know, because there's less data in role 8, there's less you can verify, there's more you can verify on the other one, therefore more allowance or whatever. Like various different ways you can make those role setups work within the cryptography within your program. That's what I'm saying. Hold on a second, I need some coffee. I'm going to take a sip. But I also put that in here to show just easy how it takes deviated paths for each role. Okay. This is post-quantum cryptic PQC native way of doing configuration with elliptical curves. Okay, it's just a native way to do it, and that's one of the things I was like. Every time I'm doing something that's native to PQC, I'm just gonna let you know this is native to this. We did it earlier. The only time I'm doing something special, I'm only doing a couple things. This shows you how to quickly use it. Some useful scripts, some tips. Now this does work. 100% works. Like, should I just do it? I didn't plan on doing it. Where's that at? Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys can see what I'm doing. It's not popping up anywhere. What the heck? There it is. It's in the wrong panel. Okay. So yeah, we just popped it out. You guys saw something, right? Yeah. So we'll go turn on here. So we're gonna put this. Oh, I gotta put that up over everything else. Keep above things. Haha. We're going to. Oh, I gotta get the text out of here, right? So what is it saying? What was this use, right? Remember there was a use part in here, right? So, we're gonna say this right here, right? We're just gonna see how that works, or if that works. Hey, that did something. Yep, that one failed. It, to be honest, that hasn't happened in a long time. Oh, I don't have the right script in here. This is wrong. See, this is why I said I have to go over and redo it again. I have to look over it all over and have to audit it again. So I'm just now noticing, no, this is actually wrong. This has been changed. We changed internal structure a little bit. It's changed. So I can't do it live on air because I didn't have it prepared. Unless, well, hold on a second. I have this thing down here. I can click this. We can say this. It's probably going to pop up over here. Everything's in my way now. Thank you. Let me just pop that down real fast. Let me pull back up. So let's see. We have a test program thing we can run. Oh, can't do that. That gets rid of that. Alright. So we're going to try running the test. Okay. You literally just saw it work in front of your eyes. And use the right, yeah, and use the right script. It does do its job, right? So it processes a seed roll and it has all this other stuff, and it even tells you where everything's placed. That you can see it's actually placed somewhere, so I can go find it, right? And here it is. It's saying, look, here's the payload. So here's the payload that we're used to create this address. And here's the payload we use to create this address. Now, if I take this address right here, okay, we hit copy. Now, keep in mind, I did not plan to do this. I'm just doing this random. This is like, you guys just getting something. I'm doing something on the fly. Hate that. I always forget about that. They locked me out. A couple of them. Whoa, whoa. How many of these locked me out now? Okay, there we go. You can see, I get locked out of a lot of these for I don't know what. But so if we try to go directly to it, it's not a proper address. Now, I was on one of these not too long ago, one of these explorers. Let's see. And it was like it's one of the ones that gives you actually more information about whatever it is you're looking at or whatever. Maybe it's this one. Or it might have been Mempool. We're going to that one too if I have to. Yeah, we're going to mempool. That's probably it. Because basically it is an address. Okay, here it is. It is an actual address. So it's a valid address. It's an invalid Bitcoin address. Okay. It's a properly conformed address. In cryptography, that's kind of important. Okay? That really means some stuff. Thank you, Mr. Sar. I had some stuff in front of the chat. I just got the stuff off the chat. I just noticed that you said something. What's up, bro? So I'm so glad to see you in the chat. Thank you for coming in. This shows that the process does do its job. It is working. Right? And that is kind of my point. Is it does do its job. It's simple. It's basic. It does exactly what I claim it does. It creates actual addresses that, with potentially a soft fork, could be used on Bitcoin. Alright, so scripts, tests, things, tips. You see here, do not trust the system with real Bitcoin keys. It only shows Sphinx can be adjusted by the parameter files. We can adjust the Sphinx by just having parameter files and then controlling the setup and turning off certain things. We can just do that. And it does that. I do see, okay, like, how do I see Bitcoin's role evolving as AI becomes more integrated into the global economy? Well, I actually see the Bitcoin devs actively fighting the ideal of people being able to use Bitcoin's databasing system as an AI drop point, because it has been in the past. And people were hiding it at the time during the big NFT craze on Bitcoin. So I see Bitcoin's role is going to be a way to basically have a secure data line for known data points. You know, it's a loop. What do you got from the previous? It's always a loop. All right. So now we have this. This is the PQC tools. So these are basic tools using my custom processes. This uses my completely customized trinary system, how we get into trinaries and all this other stuff. The expansion system, which actually allows us to roll from binary and trinary back into trinary. This then allows us to take, basically any part of the output once we have what we want, and we can sort into itself to ensure it's completely proper trinary in the end, and it does this in a manner that allows us to mix it, and then we completely remove all of the permutations and generations of these simple constructs, which now gives us the most lowest entropy patterns in binary that we can cut out. And we do it as an simple error filter. Now, something a lot of people don't realize is in PQC, you do error filter often. Like, live error correcting is a common PQC process. I don't understand why people are mad about this cleanup. It's a common post-quantum cryptography process, okay, to clean up your shit. It's what you do. And that was one of the things the guy got on to me about. He was like, well, this might break it or whatever. And it's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, this is how it's supposed to be done in post-quantum cryptography. You clean up. You error correct constantly. Okay? It's also one of the ways you get rid of, it's one of the ways you can decouple things. You can make stuff like zero proof snarks, basically, without it being a snark. You know? I say it like that. I mean, like, you can make zero proofs out of these. We do folding, like protein folding, basically, into itself to create a 6,000 trit size, so it's much smaller. And we use that as a master entropy by shaking it. Okay? So now we have a giant pool. And we use that pool to pull from. We use that pool to create all of our keys. We make real, actual post-quantum cryptographic keys. No. AI could not become the preferred settlement layer for AI-driven economic activity. It would be stupid because it's too slow, it's too small, it's too everything. It's specifically designed to not allow things like that to happen. Although, like, you have 1,000 other blockchain systems that are more suitable for that. Like, there's Sucoin, a bunch of other ones where they can perform like 500,000 processes within a second or something like that. Like, those systems are completely designed for AI-driven activity, because AI-driven activity is some of the fastest moving activity that we've ever seen. It's even faster than robotic activity that uses just basically like servers communicating to each other. It's even faster than that. So when you run it, it just basically gives you what you're getting. And basically we have this hybrid signer, which allows you to sign into PQC. So it allows us to get the original Bitcoin message and some other message. It allows us to create entropy on top of our Bitcoin message. And then we use that as the base to put into the tris, to do all the same processing, to clean it up, to get rid of some of the stuff so it's not fully there. And then we call this basic common post-quantum cryptography signing. And you see here the normal signer would just do this part, and it would not do the whole computate with the Bitcoin, with entropy, and then putting it in the trit and then cleaning it up to make it not all there, to then sign into. So that way you have a partial key, not a full key. So that way, like, even if the post-quantum signature wrapper gets broken because it's not properly done or something, which could be done, like, there is a way to do that. Well, you don't have all of the actual secret inside the keys, but so, like, it's enough to verify, but not enough to use. You know what I'm saying? So it's, even if you break the wrapper, the key inside is still safe. So combine the blob again. That's why if we started with a signature, we do this, we put it in one of these, and we put it back into another signature, and do this one more time, we have a completely decoupled signature from the seed, the magic seed. Okay, so then we take all of this, we combine all of this together, and we create a base 58 encoded output, which is a very long version of the Bitcoin address. And it's a faux signature, and that's my term. I love the word faux because it means fake. It's a faux signature. So how these basic programs kind of work together is one creates a thing, one does the rest don't matter, right? And the bottom is just a warning saying, hey, look, this is just what I use this for something else. You guys might like it. But it gets even better, because these are the basic tools. There's more advanced ones. Now, I wouldn't really call these more advanced. I'd call them more robust. AI kept calling them advanced. I keep thinking they're robust, so we call it updated. Because this just does it a little bit more. Okay? This just gets you more of that Bitcoin-style output. A lot of it's the exact same. It kind of shows you an example of how that trinary rollover looks like. And then we still do all the same processing up to a certain point, and then we start doing things different. And really, I think the signer is what's hugely different. So, like the signer, basically, this one does. Where is it? We take the signature, and we're just standard signature, right? Nothing special. And then we put it in the wrapper again. This one, we're doing the wrapper part slightly different, and then we're combining it into a blob slightly different. So the output still similar, but different. Now this one gives us a smaller output than the other one. Basically, this one is hybrid because Bitcoin internally can be verified, and the external one is or should have quantum resistance. And if it was just the signer, it would skip 2 of the steps. It would just call the thing with the original message, thinking that's good enough. And so we're building a post-quantum layer on top of the old layer. This has old signing into the new signing, so to speak. And it's everything else basically the same. It's just an updated version of the other one. It's better, properly, it's suitable for handling the actual Bitcoin-style keys or base 58 encoding-style keys. And that's really about it. Alright. Oh, that was the wrong one. That was the wrong one. I apologize, everybody. You're still here. You can still say hello. And I did answer your message earlier. But I went to go hit browser and chat right next to each other. I really got to move those two. I'll move that right now. I just moved that right now. just moved it, so I don't keep doing that. Because I got one more thing I gotta talk to you guys about. Okay? We're gonna bring that back up real fast. I guess the ideal is, if you guys think I should go ahead and resubmit this one to the Bitcoin devs as a fresh new whatever, and just see what they think or whatever, go ahead and comment below. Say something. What up, Dan? What up? Appreciate everybody who's still here. I know ISOSR probably still here too. Appreciate it. Really do. And I apologize for that. For dropping your guys' chat. I keep forgetting that when I hit the button on the OBS, it clears the screen that has it all. I'm like, oh, as soon as it clears, it's like, oh, crap. Just, no. Okay. But anyways, do you guys think I should go ahead and push this again? Should I submit this into the Bitcoin dev team again? This one specifically that is super clean. Now, again, I need to clean it up again. I need to go through it one more time and make sure like this README just isn't, like I feel like where it says something about the roles, there's something I'm not happy about. I want to change the way it says that. Yeah, right here. This is the native way of doing key to rich. I'm just gonna say this is I don't know. I want to change this one line. That's what I want to do. I want to change that one line. I don't know. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comment below if you guys think I should go ahead and submit this after all. But you know, yep. Basically, what I'm saying is, even in development, it's a contest. If you don't have the social skills, the selling skills, the coding skills, the general knowledge, or even the known standard terminology, you better expect some humiliation. Like, it's going to become your friend, so to speak. And so find people with these skills. Collaborate with them on proposals or how to make your changes known. A lone wolf proposal is not always the best way forward. It's kind of like the hardest way to do it. That's why when Lot put in that BIP 361, he wasn't the only person that wrote that BIP. It's good for a good reason. We should take his perspective and say, hey, good ideal. Although I still have one more lone wolf ideal right here in front of you guys. You guys just saw it. I have the actual proper Syncs Plus BTC pipeline set up. It actually works. You saw the test. You saw the output. Creates real addresses. Or real enough addresses that small software could probably get it working. Now just remember, Bob claims things that in practice are not real. Most people will never get that far of getting a response. And sure, again, anyone can sign up, anyone can send, but it takes extra steps to go any further than that. And to be honest, at this point, I do not know if I will send in this other one. I still don't have a clue. Let me know what you think. If you guys honestly have a real opinion on it, just go ahead and post it. If you don't worry about it. Because if you have a real opinion, it might actually sway me one way or another. So basically, I'm going to be taking a short break after today's episode. I've been doing this almost 2-3 years straight. So, I'm going to take a short break. I don't know exactly how long. So until next time, guys, basically, don't stick to a perspective. Try on someone else's perspective. See what happens.
Yo, did you think you know? Did you think you hold? Did you think something new? That's the goal, to see from a new degree and get the change your mind needs to find something new. Life suddenly is easy for many, but when a wall appears, sometimes up is all you see. So let 3D guide to the side, yo, where there's a door though. Just be careful on your way out, for the first step is a do-see-do. A little bit Linus with something different, it's almost like he's something else. And regardless, maybe, perhaps it was that missing piece you was needing. Maybe it was that simple message you was searching. us from our own mental mind tank. Boom goes the blast of thought. Boom goes the last spark with pot. Boom goes the mental mind tank. Don't your perspective hit on the way out. Don't let your directive stop you when you doubt. Don't let the dire detection stop you from being getting excited, so the photons are delighted. Don't hesitate so we can line up the hash rate. Let me surmise the time, submit the rate, and reduce the fakes while we mine our major banks. Crypto technology like cryptographic money, while hashing your life into a set of QRs. It doesn't matter, cause this was 3D changes perspectives. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a new roll of perspective. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a brand new perspective. Of perspective. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for a brand new perspective. Thank you for joining the show. Please return next time for.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Fear Stan. Thank you, Sar. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. See you guys when we come.